The following is a paid program by Gary C. Johnson, attorney at law. Welcome to Simply the Law, the program that gives you free legal information. Brought to you by the law office of Gary C. Johnson. Good evening, everyone. Welcome into Simply the Law. I'm Keith Casebold, my friend and the host of this program, Gary Johnson.
Just good to be here.
Oh, it's better than good to be here, because when Gary and I walked into the studio today, Lord bless these good people at WYMT, they all said, "You guys have lost weight."
Well, they didn't say that to me.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. And that made both of us smile.
25th annual Gary C. Johnson diet. 1st of January for 25 years, I've been going on a diet. Finally, this year, and it was Keith's 13th year of being on the annual diet.
Yes.
This year, we have finally decided we're not calling it a diet. It's not a diet. We have decided that this year it is a change in our lifestyle, that we have decided to be healthy and to eat healthy and to exercise and see what happens. We're not even saying we're dieting, because that's a bad word. A diet is something that you suffer, that you feel bad, that you're miserable, that you deprive yourself. And we have found, believe it or not, by changing our attitude and approaching it in a different way, that we have lost, since the first of the year, a substantial amount of weight, both of us have, without all the suffering that goes with it. But we're not on a diet. We have decided to live healthy and to try to be healthy and to take responsibility for ourselves, called personal responsibility for our own health. Therefore, we don't eat the things we normally would eat. We eat things that are supposed to be good for you. Consequently, Keith, tell them, how much have you lost?
Well, as of this weekend, when I avoided the Easter Bunny chocolate again, I'd lost 24 pounds. I started out at 243 pounds. Gary put me on the diet. I made the change of life. And the really only thing I did was eat right, eat less, and started walking 2 miles a day. So I've lost 24 pounds. I'm 219. And boy, do I feel good.
You're looking better.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That's good.
And I owe it all to you, because had I not been on the other 12 Gary C. Johnson diets, and failed miserably, I might add. In fact, I think the last 3, Gary, I gained weight on them. This time, he finally talked me into it. Not a diet, a change of life. And I got to be honest with you. I'm happy. I'm eating better. I'm exercising. I'm healthy. I feel good. And I've lost 24 pounds.
The secret to getting Keith on board was when I explained to him that if you can accept responsibility for yourself, and if you accept responsibility for your health, and then you eat the foods and the exercise and the things that you should do in order to try to be healthy and be responsible, that you can do anything. There's nothing harder than doing what you ought to do. You all know that. Let's face it. There's nothing harder.
Amen to that.
But once you start doing what you should do, and once you have the willpower to do what you should do, and once you have the willpower to accept personal responsibility for you, all kinds of things open up for you. All kinds of opportunities open up to you. People that would never do business with you come looking for you. They want to do business with you. People that don't necessarily would not want to be around you much, you start seeing them come around a lot. All because of your attitude, that you have now accepted responsibility. I don't know how I got off on this. I've not even thanked you folks yet for allowing us to be with you today, this evening, and to come into your living room and visit with you. We got off on this diet, I guess. But in the same sense, I think it's important for each of you that may be watching this program. Don't call it a diet, because you will fail, in my opinion, if you call it a diet. And I know that from 25 years of experience of failing going on diets. It has to be an attitude change in your mind that you have now said, I am going to be responsible for me. I'm not going to be responsible for Keith. I'm not going to be responsible for anybody else. But I'm going to accept and be responsible to me. Because of all the people in the world, I may like me the most. So it's not that hard when you think about it. Yet you neglect the one that means the most to you, that you need the most, which is you. What do they tell you when you're in that airplane and they got those masks that fall down? What do they tell you? Put the mask on yourself first. Because if you can't save yourself, you can't save anyone else. So what I'm saying to you is, accept responsibility for you. Decide to do a lifestyle change, lots of exercise. And there's a reason, not just to stay skinny to do exercise. Your brain, no matter what age you are, is building neurons. And when you beef up your body by exercising and walking, you're actually using your brain. Do you know how many billion commands the brain has to give with little neurons in order for you to move your foot? So every time you're moving, you're beefing up and exercising your brain. You're staving off dementia and Alzheimer's and all of those things that happen to you as you get older by being active. The same way with the foods you eat. Your brain needs good nutrition. If your brain gets good nutrition, it will stave off Alzheimer's, dementia, all of those things that happen to us as we age, and it happens to all of us. The question is, how long can you put it off? Accept personal responsibility and say, I'm going to put it off as long as I can because I don't want to be a burden on anybody else. I'm going to accept personal responsibility for me. Personal responsibility. It's not easy. You'll lose weight and never know you're losing it once you do that. You'll be surprised at how easy it becomes to get. Your body will naturally has a natural habitat that you are in. You will get to that natural habitat, whatever it is. It may be that you're a person that would normally be hefty, or you may be a person that would normally be skinny. But whatever your normal for you, whatever protoplasm the good Lord made us, is where you will end up. Now, if you eat healthy and you exercise, and it turns out you still are hefty, then that's the way the good Lord meant for you to be. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're hefty because of then the good Lord didn't mean for you to be that way. You need to change your way of life. None of my business. I don't need to be telling you folks how to live your life. I'm sure most of you know a lot better than I do how to do it. I'm just sharing the experience Keith and I have had in regard to this. And we have found in the last 3 months that it's working for us. Simply by saying, we are going to now be personally responsible for ourselves. It's working fine. I've lost a bunch of weight. Keith's lost a bunch of weight. We're getting skinny. Can't keep my rings on my fingers, and you can't hardly see my ears anymore, and don't have any eyelids because of all the weight I've lost. The belly's doing fine. It's hanging in there. But the rest of it, but in time, it all works out, and it does. But folks, this is simply the law. I'm going to talk to you tonight about insurance because I have to. And the reason I have to is I still see too many people come through my office that don't have a clue what insurance is for, why you buy it, or especially on underinsurance. So I'm going to do a little bitty program again tonight and talk to you about insurance. So what we'll do right now is we'll take a break while you make your promise to be personally responsible for yourself. And we'll come right back.
I like that. Get you some celery out of the fridge and a good glass of water, and we'll be right back with some valuable information about insurance and how it applies to the law. More Gary C. Johnson when Simply the Law continues. Simply the Law with Gary C. Johnson. We'll be back in just a moment.
My name is Dr. Robert Arts. I'm a professor of education and physics. The reason I like Pikeville College is because we all know each other. It's like we've said a lot of times before, no one's just a number. I'm very passionate about what I teach. I enjoy it. That comes through. I mean, if you walking around talking to a student, they can sense that you enjoy what you're doing. They're going to enjoy it as well because they can see that fun and excitement come out.
Experience excellence. Experience opportunity. Experience Pikeville College.
Welcome back to Simply the Law. We're in the break, and Gary said, how did we get off on that subject? I said, hey, man, I've dieted for 3 months.
You have not
I've
dieted.
changed my life for 3 months.
Okay.
I've lost all this weight. I want you to brag on me. You think I'm going to let you get on this television and not mention it? That's how we got on it. Gary, when it comes to insurance, most of us, we buy it. We know we have to have it. We never really think about it until it comes up that we need it.
And that's when it's the hardest to find it. Okay, let's talk about insurance. Let's go to the computer. I got a bunch of stuff I've got to talk to you guys about. There's the number if any of you, I'm at the office, by the way. We're here in the studio recording this, and it'll be playing this evening, and I'll be at the office. There's the number. You can also text us. You can go to www.garycjohnson.com. We're on Facebook. Everybody's on Facebook. In general, make sure you have underinsurance that protects you and your family. I'm not going to waste a bunch of time on this. I'm going to go straight in because insurance is what we're going to be talking about tonight. Arbitration. Never sign a document agreeing that any dispute will be settled by arbitration. Arbitration means you've given up your right to let a jury, which is your neighbors, decide your case, and it is a horrible mistake if you do it. You will now start seeing these in nursing homes when people are admitted to nursing homes. You'll see these provisions in coal leases. Sometimes you'll see them in hospital admission papers. Just don't sign them. It's a bad thing for you to do. Okay, say you're in a wreck. As a passenger, driver, you have the right to be put back in the same condition you were in before the accident. Now that's your right. This includes your physical, mental, and economic well-being that was damaged by the carelessness of others. Now that is your right to be put back, right? That is the law. Now, then the big question is, where's the money going to come from? And I need to talk to you about that for just a minute. In reality, the money will come from insurance. I've been at this business 30-some years, and I have never seen anyone get assets from another individual in a lawsuit. The only thing you can hope to get, in my opinion, this is my opinion, is whatever insurance coverage is available to cover that event or that wreck. Period. Now, you will probably be forced to file a lawsuit to get that insurance, and you don't sue the insurance company when you file a lawsuit. You have to sue the individual that bought the insurance policy.
Let me ask you a question there, Gary. Is that where the confusion comes in? Because I just had my niece come in this weekend. She'd been in a fender bender in Richmond, Kentucky, and she said, I am so tore up, I have been sued. Does this mean they're going to garnish my check, take my pay, take away my home? I mean, what's going to happen to me? They're suing me.
Okay, talk about that. It's really a fiction in the law, and I don't know why it's that way. Maybe it's because they say, well, if it's insurance, the jury won't do what's right. The jury's going to do what's right no matter what it is. In Kentucky and every other state that I'm aware of, you cannot sue the insurance company directly that insures the person that caused the wreck. To access their insurance policy, you have to sue the individual, period. And the individual comes to trial, and the individual is the defendant. But the reality is, whatever money you're going to get when you get a judgment against this individual or settlement, it's going to come from the insurance that's available to cover this event. I've had people just recently say, I don't want to use my insurance, thinking that it's going to make a difference in their premium. Well, it's not. Once the claim is made, either PIP or otherwise, if the insurance company is going to raise your rates, they're going to raise it anyhow just because you were in the wreck, and it doesn't matter whether you're at fault or not. So forget that. But worrying about involving your insurance is foolish, because your insurance is involved if you're in a wreck. That's just the way it is. And that's what it's for. That's why we pay premiums as a society. We buy insurance to protect us when someone else is hurt through our carelessness. In Kentucky, it's the law that you have to buy insurance to protect the other person if you are negligent or careless. All of this big fund of money, and you can imagine the top of this table here, being the big pile of money that everybody contributes to. Huge pile. When you look at the millions of people that are paying insurance premiums, why do you think that every time you turn the TV on, Allstate and Geico and them are begging you to get insurance with them? You think they're losing money? And they're spending $1 billion a year probably begging you to buy insurance from them? It's big business for those people that sell insurance. Now, all that money is in a big pile, and theoretically, if someone is hurt, they get to access that pile of money to be compensated. Now, if theoretically it worked the way it was supposed to, you wouldn't have any use for lawyers like me, because the insurance company would come in, look at it, and say, here's your money. Out of this pile, we're going to give you your part because you got hurt. Well, it doesn't work that way. The insurance companies vision themselves as being in the business of collecting premiums. They do not vision themselves being in the business of paying claims. So the system makes them pay the claims through the court system. And therefore, that's why you have lawyers. I hope I'm making sense so you'll understand what I'm saying. That we all as a society contribute to the insurance fund. There's nothing wrong with an individual being able to recover their damages from that fund.
Gary, let me ask you, you've got to help me with this scenario here. All right, you've paid the premium, you've got the insurance, you're in an accident, no fault of your own. The insurance agency, though, is not going to pay until you have to go out and get an attorney to come and file a lawsuit to get the money. And then, after that's done, the insurance company is going to turn around and say, the reason that your rates are so high and we have to raise the insurance is because of all of these frivolous lawsuits from the attorneys.
That's right.
What a vicious circle.
I'm not going to try to convince you folks concerning the frivolous lawsuits, because they've done too good a job making everybody in America believe that attorneys are out filing frivolous lawsuits so they can go broke, because that's exactly what would happen if they did that. What I want you to understand is that insurance, it's a way we do it in America. It's how we set up a system to protect people that have been harmed through no fault of their own. That's why each of you are required to buy insurance before you can license your car. It's to give some measure of protection to others if you don't do what you're supposed to do, if you break the rules, the safety rules. Now, you may not intend to break the safety rules, but if you do it, you hurt someone, you're responsible. But the reality is, you don't have any money to be responsible with. Most of us don't, not when you're talking that kind. So you have insurance that is responsible for you. And that's why when the lawsuit is filed, it's filed against you if you broke the rules. You take it and give the summons to your insurance company. They then hire a lawyer, and there are certain lawyers that's what they do. They're what you call insurance defense attorneys. That is, they make their living defending, working for insurance companies and defending people that have claims filed against them. Now that's how the system works. Let's take a break. We'll come right back, and I'm going to talk to you some more about insurance.
A lot of good information tonight about insurance and how the system works. I hope you'll stay with us. More with Gary C. Johnson when Simply the Law continues. Simply the Law with Gary C. Johnson. We'll be back in just a moment.
I'm Paul Patton, president of Pikeville College. We're a small, comprehensive, liberal arts college that can give a student an outstanding education in a nurturing environment. We have a small campus, we have a small student body, but we have outstanding professors that can make the most of a college education. Those are some of the things that make Pikeville College a place for young people to grow into adulthood.
Experience excellence. Experience opportunity. Experience Pikeville College. We would like to include you.
Welcome back. Gary, this is a good program because you see now that the insurance company collects. They're not into paying. They also make it a little bit more difficult for you because you're going to have to get an attorney, and then you're going to have to sue an individual, which most people don't want to do. The Bible speaks against that. And then they come back with a great propaganda that because you did this action, now not only is your insurance going to go up, but everybody else in your zip code is going to go up.
And if you recover, everybody's insurance is going to go up.
Yeah, because of the money, yeah. What a great story.
It's as big a scam that's ever been pulled and perpetuated, but they get away with it. Let's go to the computer. I want to talk to you about how you can be compensated. I'm going to run out of time if I don't hurry. Insurance is how you can be compensated, period. Now, what kind of insurance is there? If you look at your declaration page, you'll have it on your insurance policy. You can see what kind of coverage you've got. Now, here's what's available. Personal injury protection, no fault. Should be on there. It should be at least $10,000 minimum. Collision insurance, that is if your car is destroyed, your insurance company will replace it. Uninsured motorist, that is if the other folks have no insurance, then you will have on your policy be able to access the uninsured motorist, which should be the same amount as liability insurance that you bought, which I'm going to talk to you about in a second. Underinsurance. I know you've never watched it, those of you that watch this program have never heard about this, but you need underinsurance. That is if the other person has $25,000 in coverage and your medical bills are $50,000. That other $25,000 you will never get unless you bought underinsurance to cover that difference. So you have to have your underinsurance. Liability insurance, that is the coverage you buy to protect the other person if you cause them harm when you're driving by violating the safety rules. It's that simple. Then you have comprehensive, which covers like somebody breaks your window, a rock comes off of a truck or something that hits you. It's not very expensive, but that's what comprehensive is. That's the types of insurance that you actually buy on your car. Now, let's go on here. This is how you can be compensated. Your PIP, your $10,000 no fault that you get no matter who's at fault. Collision insurance, uninsured insurance, underinsured insurance, liability insurance, and comprehensive. That's the way you can be compensated in a personal injury action if you're in a wreck. Insurance. Now let's take a quick break, and I'll come back. If we got time, we'll come back to a sample.
All right, we'll be right back. More with Gary C. Johnson right here on Simply the Law. Simply the Law with Gary C. Johnson. We'll be back in just a moment.
My name is Dr. Robert Arts. I'm a professor of education and physics. The reason I like Pikeville College is because we all know each other. It's like we've said a lot of times before, no one's just a number. You know, I'm very passionate about what I teach. I enjoy it. That comes through. I mean, if you walking around talking to a student, they can sense that you enjoy what you're doing. They're going to enjoy it as well because they can see that fun and excitement come out.
Experience excellence. Experience opportunity. Experience Pikeville College.
Gary, tough thing, the economy. Everybody's trying to cut money. They're trying to save money. You're going in to get the insurance. The biggest mistake, getting the absolute least coverage that you can get?
The biggest mistake you can make is signing a piece of paper where you waive uninsured motorist coverage and you don't have them put the underinsurance on your policy. And people do this all the time. I see it. You desperately need uninsured motorists. If you're hurt and you've waived your uninsured, see, they have to make you sign that you don't want uninsured motorists because the law realizes how desperate people need that. So there's a law that says they have to put it on your policy unless you sign and say you don't want it on there. And it's extremely inexpensive, uninsured motorist is. Underinsurance is the other thing you need to get if at all possible. Now, if you can't afford it, you can't afford it. But you need that underinsurance to protect you and your family because with the cost of medical care today, if you're hurt in a wreck and that other party's only got $25,000 in coverage, you're going to end up in a world of hurt because you will end up bankrupt because of your medical bills is what it boils down to. If you've bought underinsurance to protect you, then that will kick in and cover those things for you, and you will have some hope. So that's what I'm saying. Underinsurance, uninsured, get those on your policies if you can possibly afford it. Do not waive, under no circumstances should you ever waive uninsured motorists. Look at your deck sheet and make sure you didn't do that. And if you've gone in and told the agent to get you the cheapest possible insurance, you may very well have waived your uninsured motorist and saved $5 or $10 a year.
Well, now that's a big factor there. We're talking about money that is minimal. I mean, you and I are laughing at the beginning about dieting, but we're really talking about knocking out an order of French fries or an extra cola, and you could have this insurance.
Pack of cigarettes,
Yeah.
or two. The bottom line is you need that coverage. I beg you, for your benefit, if you've got on your deck sheet and it does not have uninsured motorist on it, go put it on there. It is dirt cheap. And if you get hit by someone with no insurance, you will have that protection for you and your family that you won't have otherwise.
Yeah.
That is a must.
My friend, you're absolutely right. The main thing is you can't help them unless they have it.
Right.
That's the big thing. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been wonderful to be with you here tonight. Gary and I both look forward to seeing you again next week right here on Simply the Law.